All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to tackle two concepts in linguistics that, let's be honest, can really trip you up on an exam: presupposition and entailment. But don't worry, by the end of this, you're going to have a rock-solid way to tell them apart. Let's get you ready for that final. Okay, let's kick things off with a little puzzle. Imagine you're in a courtroom and the lawyer asks this question. On the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, right? But it's actually a very clever trap hiding in plain sight. You see, the moment you answer, oh, about 40 miles per hour, you've just walked right into the trap. You have now implicitly agreed that the car did run a red light, even though the question never actually stated that as a fact. This is the incredible power of invisible meaning, and today we're going to learn how to spot it. So to get a handle on these hidden meanings, we have to ask a really basic question. Where do they even come from? And the answer to that, well, that's the absolute core difference between presupposition and entailment. Okay, here it is, the number one thing you need to remember. Presuppositions belong to the speaker. They're all about the assumptions and beliefs a person holds to be true before they even open their mouth. Entailments, on the other hand, are totally different. They're all about pure logic, tied directly to the sentence itself. So one is about human psychology, the other is about linguistic logic. So how can you be 100% sure that you found a presupposition? Well, there's a fantastic, really reliable method for this. It's called the constancy under negation test. Sounds fancy, but it's a super simple trick that works almost every single time. Let's take a really simple, positive statement like this one. Before the speaker even says this, what do they have to believe is true? Well, they have to assume that Mary actually has a dog, right? That's our presupposition. Okay, now let's flip it. We're going to negate the statement. Now the speaker is saying the complete opposite about the dog's cuteness. But what do they still have to assume to even make this new statement? They still have to assume Mary has a dog. See? That background assumption holds steady. It doesn't change, even when you completely negate the main point of the sentence. And that is the test in action. It's how you can confidently say, yep, that's a presupposition. Awesome. Now that we've got the basic test down, let's build you a practical toolkit. It turns out certain words and even whole sentence structures act as triggers for these presuppositions. We're going to go through the 6 main types you're definitely going to see. Okay, this slide right here, this is basically your study guide. First, you've got existential presuppositions. Anytime you see a phrase like the king, you're assuming that person exists. Then there's factive, where verbs like regret or know presuppose that the thing you regret or know is an actual fact. Lexical triggers, like the word stopped, presuppose that a previous state existed, so if he stopped smoking, he must have smoked before. Structural triggers, like a when question, assume the event actually happened. And the last two are super interesting because they presuppose the opposite is true. Non-factive verbs like pretend mean the action isn't real, and counterfactuals, like if I were, automatically mean that you are not whatever follows. All right, let's level up. We're moving into a more advanced topic now, and this is where things can get a little tricky. What happens when you have a perfectly good presupposition in a simple sentence, but then it just vanishes when you put that sentence inside a bigger one? This is known as the projection problem. It's what happens when the hidden meanings of the small parts don't project up into the meaning of the whole sentence. It's almost like they get swallowed up or canceled out along the way. So check this out. In this sentence, the word realized is a factive verb. That means it triggers the presupposition that Kelly was, in fact, ill. The speaker is treating her illness as a non-negotiable fact. But now, watch what happens. We've taken that original sentence and embedded it inside a bigger one that starts with, I imagined. And that one little word, imagined, changes the entire game. Whoa. All of a sudden, the presupposition of the whole sentence is that Kelly was not ill. The original assumption wasn't just weakened, it was completely flipped on its head. This happens because imagined is a non-factive verb. It signals that what follows is untrue. So why does this happen? Why does one part of the sentence get to cancel out another? Well, the answer comes down to a power struggle between our two big concepts. You see, when a speaker's assumption, a presupposition, goes head-to-head with the direct, logical meaning of the sentence, its entailment, one of them has to win. And in this linguistic hierarchy, entailment holds the trump card. It always wins. Let's think about this with a simple three-step process. Imagine the sentence, "The King of England doesn't exist." Okay, step 1. You see the phrase, "the King of England," and your brain flags a potential presupposition. He exists. But then, step 2, the rest of the sentence hits you. It creates a logical entailment that directly contradicts this, that he doesn't exist. So what happens? Step 3, the entailment wins. It's stronger. It simply cancels out that initial assumption, and the final meaning is perfectly clear. Okay, enough theory. Let's take this out of the textbook and see how these concepts are used, and sometimes, let's be real, abused, in the wild to direct our attention and subtly shape what we believe. A simple sentence like "Rover chased 3 squirrels" actually has a few different logical entailments, but a speaker can control which one you focus on just by where they put the stress. If they say, "Rover chased 3 squirrels," they're making the main point about who did it. But if they say, "Rover chased 3 squirrels," the focus immediately shifts to the number. The words are identical, but the speaker is totally controlling the main takeaway. Here's another powerful tool for doing this. It's a special sentence structure called the it cleft. When someone says, "It was Rover that chased the squirrels," they are cleverly presupposing that you and I already agree on the basic fact that someone chased the squirrels. That's treated as old news. The only new information is the identity of the chaser. It's a really subtle way to present an assumption as if it's already a shared established fact.
Okay, pop quiz time. Let's put all this new knowledge to the test. I'm going to show you 5 sentences, and your job is to hit pause, take a second, and identify the main presupposition in each one.
All right, ready? Here we go. Number 1, why do you hate linguistics? Number 2, she didn't realize she was overcharged. Number 3, he started listening to the explainer. Number 4, if I had $1 million. And finally, number 5, we imagined we were on vacation. Take a second, and then we'll check the answers. So how'd you do? Let's go through them. For number 1, the why question is a structural trigger, presupposing that you do, in fact, hate linguistics. For number 2, realize is a factive verb, so it presupposes the fact that she was overcharged. For 3, the lexical trigger started presupposes that he wasn't listening before. For 4, that classic if clause creates a counterfactual, presupposing that I don't have $1 million. And for 5, the non-factive verb imagined presupposes that we were not actually on vacation. In every single case, the key is just spotting that trigger word or structure. And that's our masterclass on presuppositions and entailment. You now have the tools you need to analyze these hidden meanings, but I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If presuppositions really do come from speakers, and almost everything we say is built on some kind of personal assumption, can language ever be truly 100% objective? Something to think about. Good luck on those exams.